Hey, everybody. Happy Thursday. Welcome to the Inner Truth Collective podcast. My name is Melissa Gorecki. I will be your host. And tonight, I am bringing on my very special friend, my special guest, Dr. Alicia Delgado Gavin. I met her a few years back. I got to be honest, I don't know how we found each other. I don't know. But we did. We found each other magically and have stayed in touch since. And I got to say, like, she doesn't know what a special place she has in my heart. And I don't want to make her cry or anything, but she was the first person where I talked about my felony out loud on her page because she put up a post, and that like changed my whole life. So let me bring her on and her to the stage. There she is.
Hi,
Beautiful
guys.
angel.
Oh, Melissa, thank you
Girl.
so much for that introduction and that shout out. It's very interesting because I remember that post very vividly, and I remember
Do
everything
you?
you said. Yes. And a lot
That's
of people, some people like give me, and I don't expect it, but some people like give me shout outs. And I'm like, oh, I didn't realize that I had that impact. I didn't
yes.
realize I made you feel that comfortable. So,
Girl,
congrats.
when I tell you that post for me like set me free because I held so much deep inner guilt, shame from my felony
Mhm.
that I'd wanted to talk about it so bad, but I didn't know how to like say it to people because it's not like I had to say it, but I knew if I said it out loud, it made it like go away.
Mhm.
But when I saw your post, I forget, I remember it was something about like either overcoming an obstacle, something like that.
Mhm.
And when I wrote it, I was like, this is the first time I'm going to put this in the real world. And I
Yes.
was so scared. But once I
Yep.
did it, I was like,
Relief.
oh, like I don't have to carry that baggage anymore. So that for me was like a big piece. And I think about it all the time
Mhm.
because I'm like, just like you just said, you don't realize the impact you have on people.
Mhm.
And when you're on the internet, especially, and just sharing yourself,
Yep.
people see you and you could change their life with a sentence you never even would know.
Yes.
So thank you for that because that
Yes.
was huge for me.
And you know what? I remember the date is October 3rd, 2020. I
I
will remember that date.
She said October 3rd, 2020. That's great. I'm glad that you remember because for me, that's like it's like a birthday for me
Mhm.
because it
Yep.
really was like a huge part of me being able to then say it out loud,
I remember that.
not
Yes.
not feel like you know what, and when I went on Clubhouse, I think that was what cemented in my brain for me
Mhm.
that it didn't matter about the felony anymore because I heard all these millionaires and they're like, oh, I have a felony. Oh, I have this. Oh, I have this. Oh, no, my family doesn't talk to me. Oh, these people
Yes.
abandoned. And I was like, wait, and you guys are all still successful even with all those obstacles? What the
Absolutely.
hell am I doing?
Absolutely.
Girl, that was it. I was like, forget it. Balls to
Yep.
the wall. That's it. Done.
Yep.
And I never looked back because I heard somebody say on this, I was listening to shout out to the Breakfast Club, the Millionaire Breakfast Club I used to listen to.
Mhm.
That should change my life. But what they said in there was it was something like who's I'm paraphrasing, but who's losing when you don't win? It hit me so hard and I was like, oh
Yeah.
my God, why am I playing so small in my life? Why am I not showing up in my fullness? Why am I so scared to be me? For why? And
Yep.
then after that, I was like, all right, coming out of the shell.
Good. And
So let me ask you. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'll say you've been killing it. You've been doing
Girl,
amazing.
thank you. I
Amazing.
appreciate you.
Yes.
But I appreciate you. And I know that you can say that to me. And I know that you mean that because
Mhm.
you also do great shit all the time. I've
Thank
seen you modeling in shows. Girl, first
Yeah.
of all, you inspired me. Let me tell you, see again, a backdrop you don't even know. When I started doing like my TikTok stuff, right? They were sending me clothes and stuff. I never modeled clothes on
Mhm.
and recorded a video or anything. And
Mhm.
I thought about you and I'm like, this girl's killing it. Like, this girl's killing it. Of course you could do that.
Yep.
And that inspired me. So I was like,
Yep.
okay. And even though it's not the same as going into a modeling agency, you still got to
It's
be
still
in
nope,
this.
it's the same. It's the
When I
same.
put that bathing suit on, girl, that
What?
one day I was like
You
so
felt it, right?
excited, proud. I was so proud of myself because
Yes.
how many years ago I would have never,
Done it.
never, no,
Yep.
nope. So I
I
I
love
love
it.
it. And how'd you get into that? Tell us a little bit. Tell us about you, who you are, what you do in the
Okay.
world. Tell me
Okay.
about.
So I'll start with career wise. I'm born and raised in Huntington my whole life. My
Yeah.
parents were young when they had me, very young. They were teen parents, but my childhood was so full of just fun life because I was raised by kids. So
Right.
whatever familial trauma there was, it wasn't my mom and dad. It was like
Mhm.
the grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins,
Gotcha.
like they were like the true
Everybody.
dysfunction. But my parents always say like I saved them. Like because they're still
Oh.
together to this day. And so I'm not going to say like I had childhood trauma, I was abused, none of that. My
Right.
abuse came from my own choice in a relationship that I was in from
Mm.
16 to 24, where I dated someone, and it was physical, emotional, psychological abuse, financial abuse. This person tried to break me down every way they can. And what ended it was when I was 24, and he almost killed me in front of my children, you know? And
Mm-mm-mm.
they were babies at the time, and I was like, I'm out of here. But I had
Right.
already had like my bachelor's. I was like a counselor, so I knew better.
You
I
already were doing. Right.
knew, yeah. I was like, no, girl, like you can't be in this.
Right.
So I left that situation, and I met my husband shortly after, but he was more like my friend. I was broken, I was hurt, I was traumatized. There was so many things that I had gone through that I didn't realize that I was dealing with that kind of hurt. Like
Right.
I didn't
Right.
realize like I need to heal, like
Hmm.
Alicia, what are you going to do to heal yourself? Because you were having a breakdown and no one knew what you were going through. So through that healing, I finished school. I was still working in the field, went to get my master's, and I thought of Tears Behind the Smile, which is a book that I've been working on, but it's my story. Like that's my baby.
Right.
Like I've co-authored like 4 or 5 books already, but that book is like reliving the trauma because I'm
Oof.
writing,
I get it.
So every
Yep.
time
Through
I
it.
go and write something else, it's evoking something. People's like, when are you going to finish that book? I said, I don't care if it takes me 20 years. That's my baby.
Hmm.
But in the interim, through the healing, finishing school to be a doctor, I worked at detention centers, group homes, Rikers Island Correctional Facility, where I was,
Beautiful.
a psychologist for the officers, Creedmoor Psychiatric Center, where I worked intensely with psychotic people who were killers,
Mm.
rapists, pedophiles, which is one of the
The worst.
I
The
I have
worst.
that you have to know your biases going in. That's why I'm
Mm.
public, and I'm like,
Yeah.
like,
That's a rough.
yeah, I could deal with
I
the
give you a lot of credit.
like,
Hmm.
but that just because we're moms, so
Yeah. It's different. That
it,
whole. It
yeah,
hits different when
it
you make people. It hits different.
very different, very different. So I kind of just, I know
I get it.
I know where I'm at. And then in the interim, so starting modeling, 2020 came, and I was like taking photos. I did like a photo shoot when I was starting my brand. I had branding coach, and I
Mm.
did a photo shoot, and I posted them. And I think the one picture you saw on October 3rd was one of the first modeling pictures I did.
I
And
love it.
then it was crazy, right? And then I was on IG. I was just getting new to the whole IG, and someone was like, "Make sure you hashtag like model." And then one day this
Mm.
woman And her name is Victoria Henley from America's Next Top Model. She reached out to me and was like, "Do you want to walk in my show in Gulfport,
Oh
Mississippi?"
shit.
And I'm like, "Is this a scam? Like, am I being, And I'm like, the cat.
SOS.
Yeah, I'm like." So she calls me and she tells me about this show. So I talked to my husband, and it was only like $250 to enter the show, and you just had to pay for like your flight and hotel.
Right.
So my husband's like, "I'm going with you, right? And if it's a scam, we're out of there. Not,
Right.
we'll have a nice little weekend vacation, And then so I went,
Exactly.
and it was a legit show. It was a legit model.
That's
It was
great.
photographers, all this stuff.
Oh my
So
God.
I modeled in her show, and then one of the designers asked my husband, can he wear one of their clothing? He walked in the show impromptu.
That is awesome.
And then
I love it.
like after that, like I did like a show in Miami for her. Then I did a photo shoot for her in Costa Rica, me and my husband. That's what we
Oh
met
my God.
Maya. It just was like boom, boom, boom,
Girl,
like
that's great.
swimming. And I said, this is God, because it was like
What
and
else?
then
What else?
it's just one. And then the acting and like big runway, more modeling. I started like a little over a year ago at a place called Tower Talent in Melville. And I'm like, let me take some acting class. I do like acting classes. I do modeling, and I absolutely love it. And then there is where like they told me about like Actors Access and all casting networks. And I had my first 2 paid commercials I did in October. And I've just been
That's
like,
cool.
and it's just fun, it's just fun. My husband and I, we're writers. We write like scripts. He went to school for film and media arts. So that's what he has his degree in.
It's already his thing.
Yeah. So we've just been writing. We've been pitching our scripts. We've just been pitching our stuff. So that's like the next big thing we're at right now. So
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it because, it's crazy. We really are into a lot of the same stuff. I love it because I write, like, I'm just sitting here, like, I got notebooks upon notebooks. I just am I got ideas for days, but I need places to funnel my ideas. So that's what's unfolding.
Okay.
Now is finally like business consulting, stuff like that. Like, I got ideas upon ideas. Just I need somewhere to put them.
Yep, we got to put them somewhere.
We're just doing so much, and I love seeing. First of all, I love how you parent. I love how you parent. There's one thing about the people that I will bring on this show, and I will say this for everybody. I look at the content of your character. Anybody that comes on the show is a high character, a high value human, because the way you parent is beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
So I love good moms. I love moms that show up and are just good to their kids, and you can see that you inspire your kids. Your daughter, I love watching her sing. So tell us a little bit about her, because I have to. She's just the cutest.
Okay, this is number 3. I have 4 kids, 17, 16, 8, and 6, and my 8-year-old, she is the firecracker. We didn't even know that she could sing until it was a video I think I posted a few years ago. I think she was just turned 4. She's like, listen to me sing. She has her guitar, and we're like, okay. She sings Girl on Fire by Alicia Keys, and our faces were on the floor like, this song. You could fake play the guitar, all of these different things. So it was just a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I was like, and she loves to sing. She's always in the house. She's always singing, emulating videos, and she does plays.
I love it.
She's been on TV too. Now I get very leery with the kids in Hollywood kind of thing.
Agree. But when you're in the know, you're
in the know,
then it's different.
It's different.
It's different when you know.
And all 4 of my kids have been on set. And one thing I have to say, all the sets we've been off, parents cannot leave their kids. You cannot be out of eyesight of your kid. We've been on Law and Order, New Amsterdam, Blue Blood, and if I had 2 kids on set, both parents had to come. Like, especially the teenagers are different because, they're bigger, so I could kind of maneuver, but.
Right, but no, little ones is different.
Yeah. So I respect that. I
love that.
They're like, you have to be an eye shot of your kid. You can't, so those things get leery
Yeah,
because
with
all these
all the
things coming
stuff
out.
going on,
What? Yeah.
girl.
So, but I want
With
them
all
to.
the stuff. Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
I would say I want them to enjoy their childhood. Everyone's like,
Yes.
you should get her on TV, you should get her on TV, but I want her to love it. Like she's doing plays at school, she's
Right.
doing
At
talent
her
shows
pace.
at her pace. I don't want it to be like, hey, let's make you a Disney kid right now and just uproot your
Right.
whole life.
And like, wouldn't she tell, like, I feel like your kids would tell you
Yeah.
if that is what they wanted right that moment. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I feel like
Yep.
you encourage them enough where they'd be like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm ready to do this.
And
Like,
I would never stop them. I'm like, "Hey, you
and you
ready
would
for it,
totally,
teacher?" Yep.
exactly, exactly.
So,
No, I love that.
mhm.
I love that so
Thank
much.
you.
I love that you encourage them to do what they love because I think a lot of parents, first
Mhm.
of all, I don't think a lot of parents are doing what they love. So, how could you show your people how to do what
Mhm.
you love if you're not doing what you love? And like,
Absolutely.
that's something with, especially with these kids. The thing for me is this: I have to be the example. Who the hell else are they learning from?
Mhm.
They're learning from me. They're sitting here watching all day. So
Yep.
whether I say something or not, but if I'm not doing it, who cares?
Yes.
So that's why I decided, I was telling my friend Brooke this earlier. I said, for me, it was really when I looked at how I talked and felt about my own father as to how I wanted to change how I parent in general, because I never wanted my kids to talk about me the way I
Mhm.
talk about my dad. And
Mhm.
not like I'm sitting here dogging him, but like even in a general conversation, some people can be like, my dad was super supportive and great. And I'm like, oh, my dad told me that I would never own a home. But I believed him because why would my dad lie to me? So
Mhm.
in my head, like when I think back of all the things that were said, I
Mhm.
know it was a projection.
Yep.
I know it was an insecurity. Like I know these things now, but looking back, I'm like, oof. Because it's crazy to me how some people, Alicia, and I only know now because now that I get it, some people never walk into their purpose, never enjoy their life,
Nope.
never show up in their fullness.
Mm.
And like, what a freaking disservice. Like, even though people don't understand it, it's so much fun being able to fit in so many different molds. So like as you do your thing,
Mhm.
you're doing
I'm all over.
multiple, multi-talented, multifaceted. I
Mhm.
loved when you and your husband would do your Facebook lives because you two
Oh,
are
the
freaking
Dr. Dorelli.
hysterical. No, you two are funny. You should totally kick them up again if you're not doing them.
No, we are.
They were
We
fucking funny. They're funny. You
are.
guys are funny together. So I'm like, no, they got to do it again. You guys are funny together.
And it's really
So
unscripted. Like people are like,
that's
and
how that's beautiful.
it's on. Like we'll talk about.
Beautiful.
Okay, this is the topic we're going to talk about. How do you feel? This how you feel?
Mhm.
Okay, and my friends would be like, your people would say your face because he would catch me off guard so much, and I'm like,
But
yeah.
that's the best. That's the best though. Because it's so nice to be when you can flow with somebody and then bring that out and people see that, it just
Yeah,
makes it where it's like fun.
yeah,
But you guys create a lot together. And I love
mhm,
that. I
yeah,
love that because it's important to be able to do that.
absolutely.
So what are you working on now? I know you said you're working on your book now,
Yep.
but
So
is there
Tears
like
Woman is
any other
coming.
projects you're working on? Like what are you doing?
So the biggest things are scripts. This
Mhm.
I just in December, there's a script we have coming. It's based on his college experience. Um, at Temple University because it's
Mhm.
crazy. And he used to tell me stories, and I'm like, listen, we got to get this on paper, you know? So
That's
we started getting it on paper, and then I entered into a film festival in December. And
mhm.
now this is live, so I guess people are gonna know, but I pitched it and I got first place in this film festival.
Beautiful.
And it was just one of those things like they were in LA, West Coast. So I was on the call to like midnight, and I pitched
Mhm.
in front of like producers and things like that. So Our next thing is just getting someone to pick it up and back it up, and let's get it rolling. Like, I want someone to pay for this, and like, let's produce this and get this on a network.
I just tagged one of my producer friends in the
Oh,
comments. I tagged Glenn.
okay.
Glenn is an actor, producer, writer, director,
Mhm.
everybody, everything of everything. And he's awesome. Andrew's been in a few different of his films.
Love
I
it.
go as the cheerleader for Andrew and him. They're just awesome. He's awesome. His family's awesome. His mom and dad are incredible. Like he's awesome. So Glenn, I tagged you. Meet Alicia.
Glenn.
Welcome. I
Hey,
love see
Glenn.
that's what I love knowing so many diverse kinds of people. And
Hmm.
being a creator is just it's so much fun. And like people don't know everybody's a creator. Like
Yep.
everybody could create something if they use their
Hmm.
brain. we
Yes.
know we know that's a
Yes.
little rough, but I mean the stuff that we get to do is pretty awesome. And I love how when you put up your posts and people like you empower women. Like you empower women. And
Yep.
that is a beautiful, beautiful thing because we need that.
Yep.
I feel like a lot of women don't know how to work together
Nope.
because they think everyone is like the
Yep.
competition.
And it's
And
too much
it's
out here.
tiresome.
Yes.
There's enough for everybody. There is so much abundance. Like you could literally do whatever you wanted.
Yes.
It's limitless
Yes.
opportunities. And people are like, why are you doing that? And it's like,
Like,
why don't you do something too?
yes. Yes. And it's
What's the
so,
problem?
and Melissa, the thing that is so crazy, people will hate and discourage when you have grandiose dreams. That's why they say only share your goals and dreams with like-minded people, you know?
Yep. Oh yeah.
So
Otherwise it knocks you off
it
course.
knocks you off unless you have to really have the strong mentality, like, no, this is what I'm doing. And I've had to
Hmm.
say to people, why do my grandiose dreams affect you so much?
Right. Why are
Because
you
God
so
forbid
bothered?
if they don't happen, does it affect you in any way?
Well, that's not what it is. It's because they could never, ever, in a
Mm.
gajillion million years, think that big.
Mhm.
And that's what does it for people. Because,
Yep.
I've been posting a lot of the things like the hate mail I get or the hate comments that I get, only because, and people are like, oh, don't post it. No, 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 no. Here's the thing. I've sat quiet long enough. I've been getting this for years.
That's crazy.
I'm only posting it because I'm sick of everybody's bad behavior now. And now I'm
Yep.
a little more rougher around the edges and
Yeah.
polished up where I don't
Mhm.
give a shit.
Yep.
So now I'm like, no, actually, lady from the group, I'm gonna post your shit to show your bad behavior because you're
Yeah.
an adult and you should not be mean like that.
Mhm. Yes.
So I posted and I don't care now, but like it's the craziest thing for me because I'm sitting here like, if everyone, this is in my brain, I'm like, if everyone knew that we all come from the one thing, like one thing made everything, like how could you not embrace people? If
Yes.
you know, and it doesn't have to be a God thing, it could be a one world thing, whatever you
Mhm.
want it to be, but like, how do you not embrace other people?
Yes.
Women, men,
Mhm.
anybody. And I just don't get it. But
Yep.
it's been like this my whole life. Like when I was in high school, we made a club. It was called Bringing Unity to Youth. There was like 8 of us in it or something.
Mhm.
And at the time, it was to bring everyone together. And most of the people that were in the group were
Mhm.
Black, Hispanic, like everybody wanted change.
Yep.
I was in the group and we all like worked together to do great things, but like it didn't stop obviously racism
Mhm.
or anything because I don't think that's until people see you're from one thing, it's always going to
Yes.
be black versus white, man versus woman,
All the time. Yep.
yellow versus red,
Yep.
purple versus pink. It's like,
Mhm. Yeah.
so that's why like I don't participate. Like I make fun of it because I think the whole thing is funny. I think the people getting mad is funny. I think that people believe in it. It's fun. I just think it's funny.
Yeah.
So when I watch it, I'm like, if everybody just put all that aside
Hmm.
and just showed up for each other,
Yeah. You'd be happier.
imagine that world. Like,
Yes. Yes.
but with women, I want to do that. Like, that's why I started that Inner Truth Collective, because I'm like, if we could get everybody to see, like, no, there are women out there lifting other women up, we could do that too. Like,
Hmm.
I don't think some people even know it's a thing.
Hmm.
And only because the first real friendship I had was when I was like 40, like a
Wow.
reciprocated girl friendship.
Yeah.
I was
Wow.
40.
Wow.
So I know it's hard. And I know people's hearts are hardened over
Hmm.
time. So they don't want to like let the love in.
Yeah.
But I'm like, no, you can do it. Like,
Yes.
you
It's such
can
a
do it.
beautiful thing. It's such a beautiful thing. It's such a
I'm telling you,
beautiful thing.
the healing and like being able to be like, no, I'm happy. Like
Yes.
and I know there's people out there that like don't want to live, and that's why I will always share my story.
Yep.
I will always share. There are
Wow.
so many people out there in such bad shape. Mm-mm-mm.
Yes. That just need the support or positivity, you know?
Yeah,
And
just to listen.
yep, just to be better, you know?
Yep.
So that's I try to bring like laughter. I'm very like sarcastic and funny. So I try when I post things, I try to really be on that and not be too serious about a lot of things. You know, because I just want to show everyone that you can do it regardless of your situation. So the post to go
Right.
back to what you have posted on that day, it was when I become successful, don't hate me and don't be mad at me. Remember that I was born to teen parents. Remember that there were times where I was evicted. I had a car repossessed. There were days I only had less than $1 to my name. I had to go through a doctorate program where I was ridiculed for being the only minor, you know? So that was what
Right.
you
Mm.
responded to. And I said, we all go through these things. So when you see any of my successes, don't hate because I trudged through the mud to get the, you
Mm.
know. So I want it, and I'm glad you're one of the people who I've encouraged during that story. I want more
Definitely.
people to come through and say, I don't care if I've been evicted. I don't care if I don't have a working car.
Hmm.
Like coming outside your car not being there, you know, or like sitting with my
Yep. Been there.
sitting
Been
with my
there.
significant other and like, are we gonna pay car note, car insurance, or rent? Like, what is
Right.
you
Yeah.
know,
Like, what are
like
we picking?
what are we picking today? Because we're
Yep.
in the trenches right now. So that's really my goal to show people you can do whatever you want. You just have to change your mindset, you know?
Right.
And people think, well, I'm going through this. Like you said, we come through a lot of family hurt where they tell us you can't do this, you'll never have that. And we
Right.
kind of like, oh, maybe they're right, you know?
Yeah. Well, why would they lie? Like, you're
Yeah.
like,
Hmm.
because wouldn't you think? So this is, wouldn't you think your family wants you to win?
Yeah, yes, yes. It's like the
I don't
common
know.
sense
It's
thing.
crazy. It's
Yes.
like, Alicia, I tell you, I sit here some days, I'm just like, is it me? Is it me? And then I'm like, it's not. I know it's not
Yes.
because I
Yes.
sit here and I use my brain. I
Mhm.
know a lot of people can't say that, but I do. And I just am like, no, it's not me. It's not me.
Yes.
Your family should, like, I'm going to say this and I'm going to hold everybody's hand as I do it. Your family is supposed to cheer you on.
Yes.
Your family is supposed to show up for you and love on you without expectations.
Melissa, you are speaking right now.
I'm holding everyone's hands
Woo!
gingerly because I know you guys are twitching, but like
Mhm.
for real, your family, anybody in your house should be cheering you on,
Absolutely.
loving on you, asking if you're okay. acknowledging, asking how they are, creating relationships with your
What?
people. Like, hello, people. Hello, everyone. Is everybody
Melissa,
okay?
let me tell you how crazy. You just said asking how you are, right? Let me tell you how crazy this is. For people who are close to me, friends and family,
Hmm.
I'm one to I ask everyone, "Hey, how you doing?"
Right.
Anyone, So anytime I ask my closest people to me that question, they're like, "Oh, you're psychoanalyzing me." I'm like, "Do people not ask you how you're feeling? I'm just saying, how are you all right? You good? You good,
Shit.
boo? You good, girl? You good guy? You good friend?" Like, so they think by me
Mm.
asking
They
that I'm
think you're,
psycho, and I'm like, "No, no, no, no. I'm off
but
duty."
that's not you. That's them. That's their
Yes.
insecurity
Yes. I'm
peaking.
just like,
That's
I'm
your
asking you
insecurity
genuinely, like,
showing.
because me asking you, "How are you doing?" You could be like, "Girl, I wanna kill myself." And I'm like, "Okay, we're gonna,"
Yeah,
it could
let's
be
talk. Like,
something.
you don't have
Yes,
to. Yeah.
yes. Like, or I'm having, or and I also too wanna gauge how you are. "Girl, I'm having a bad day. I'm in a grumpy mood." I'm like, "Alright,
Hmm.
we'll talk later," or like, "I'm not in a
Yeah,
good
like
space
if you
right."
need an ear, like
Yes. So
I started even with the kids, like I'm like, how are
yes.
like
Yep.
are we okay? What's going
Yes.
on in your
Yes.
head? Like
Yep.
how are you feeling in your heart? Like,
Yep.
but
So it's
no one
normal to,
ever asked me these things. That's why I ask.
right? And it's so crazy that it's not normalized to ask your loved ones on a daily basis, "How are you feeling today?" I asked my husband yesterday, "Babe, how you feeling today?" Because it could
Hmm.
be a rough day. My husband talks about how he had suffered from depression at a point,
Right,
from familial things and things in his past. And I'm always, "Babe, how you feeling today?" My kids,
right.
"Hi guys,
You
how you feeling?"
good?
On their way to school. Even my little ones, "Hi guys, how you feeling today?" "I'm great. I'm awesome." Whatever they say. And sometimes
Yep.
they say, "Mommy, I'm sad." And I'm like, "Okay, what's wrong?" But I
Yep.
want to normalize them being able to say how they're feeling without being scrutinized.
And
Or
think about like I think about it all the time, Alicia. When I was little, like nobody wanted to hear anybody. So like I was always told to be quiet, be quiet, be quiet. So it was always eggshells,
Mhm.
eggshells when my dad was home. But like I want my kids to be comfortable in their house enough where this is where they're allowed to be them.
Yep.
They're them all the time anyway, but here is where you should be able to be your most vulnerable.
Mhm. Yep.
Like
Here in this
I
house.
was not taught all this. So this is why like now as I think when I became truly comfortable within myself and acclimated and mastered
Mhm.
myself,
Mhm.
now I'm showing them like no, like this really is how you do it. Like
Mhm.
people not checking in on people is crazy, but I see I just from growing up like nobody asked even after my mom died, nobody was like,
Yep.
"Are you all right?" Everybody
Mhm.
just stopped talking about her because she was dead. I was like, hey guys, like, what the fuck? And then like my dad took all the pictures off the wall of her because my stepmom moved in, so he didn't want to make her uncomfortable.
Mhm.
Fuck the kid,
Yeah.
fuck these kids that live
Yep.
here, but
Yep. Yep.
we don't want to make the stranger uncomfortable.
Mhm.
So we took all the pictures down of her, and like this woman moved in and like just was there. And I was like, oh gosh, like, but I was 16 with some lady living
Yep.
there. So like now when I look back, I'm like, everybody was wild, just doing
Yes.
whatever they
Yep.
wanted.
Yep.
You're just fucking around doing whatever you wanted. I can't like, and I look back and I'm like, oh boy,
Mhm.
okay. All
Yep.
right, guys. Thanks. Thanks for the help.
Mhm. Yeah, like, "Thank you. Thank you for nothing." Like,
Thanks.
"I'm okay. I'm gonna survive."
Well, me and Tangenique, the one time we were talking, we were like, yeah, our parents left us on the back burner. And she was like, yeah, on high. And it's true. Like, literally, like, what the fuck was everyone doing? And that's
Yeah.
what I wrote about. When I wrote in that first book, in my chapter, I talked about how my family, I was interested to know, like, what everybody was doing after my mom died. Like, no one thought to be like, hey,
Yeah.
everybody all right over there?
Yeah. And
But
no.
I don't think they wanted to buck my dad So
Mm.
and I actually had somebody, I won't mention her name, but somebody reached out to me that was like a family friend. And she goes, we all saw it, but like nobody wanted to say anything. And I was like, well, thank you for saying that though, because
Mm.
at least it validated it. Not that I needed the validation, but sometimes I'm like, what did I imagine that? Did I get, but it's a gaslighting. So
Yep.
I'm like,
Mm.
was it as bad as I thought it was,
Mhm.
But
And this person was
it was just fucking, it was very bad.
were they a lot older than you?
So, well, it's all my aunts and uncles, like that whole family, like all my
Okay.
dad's brothers and sisters, like no one talks to me. Nobody. My one
Mm.
aunt was trying to talk to me, but it wasn't a heart to heart. It was to get information. And I knew to stop talking to her because when I decided to write in the book, I was so excited. I'd never had an opportunity like that. So I remember telling her, and she was like, "Are you sure you should do that? What if something happens?" And I'm like what? Like I'm gonna put paper with words on it? What? And she
Mhm.
made it into such a shit thing that
Yeah.
I didn't want to be around anybody anymore because I already saw there was no way they could see me for who I was in the new version because they have never changed to be different than they have ever been. So
Mhm.
when I'm like, oh, I'm going to go be an author, they're looking at me as Melissa that got pregnant at 20 with a felony.
Of course. Of course.
So I hope they all choked the other night when they saw me on TMZ. I hope everybody gagged in their throat
Great.
and
I'm sure they
puked in
did.
their mouth.
I'm sure.
I
And
hope.
it's always like no matter what, people want to hold that negative and never embrace you or give you any love or respect for the positive. They will talk about who and what you were 20 years ago. I'm not even the same person I was last week. Okay?
Not
Like,
even yesterday, girl,
yes.
please. With all the stuff, like the
Yes.
constant deep diving and reflecting,
Listen.
I blow my own mind all day. I'm like, oh
Yes.
shit, all
Yes.
day.
Yes.
And even today I had to not fight with myself, but when I went to the dispensary today
Mhm.
and got hired, right?
Nice. Congrats again. I found
Thank
out.
you, dear. This is my freaking dream job. This is my
Mhm.
dream job. I literally went in for one thing. I went in to go to be really honestly a cashier. I
Mhm.
just wanted to get in because I've
Yeah.
always wanted to be in the community, working in the community. Like I've been at vendor events and I've done events and put together events,
Mhm.
but this is just different. So when I went today, and wow, why did I start telling you this? Because I totally just lost my train of thought.
Um, about
I
people
was
holding on
telling
to the
you.
old you.
Yes. Okay. So now going into this, I'm looking at it like I know everyone's going to be talking shit because even
Mhm.
though it is legal here, I know people still feel a type of way about weed. I know. So I know
Mhm.
people frown upon it sometimes, even though it does come from the earth. And we do have cannabinoid receptors in our body
Yes.
because we are supposed to ingest it, but that's here nor there.
Mhm.
Who am I?
Mhm.
But anywho, I already knew once I start putting up that post that, you're going to have people delete you, you're going to have people look at you funny. But my aunt said something to me on the phone, my one aunt that I do talk to. And she was like, what if somebody says something to like Grace at school, like your mom works at the pot place? And I laughed because I'm like, Grace doesn't even know what pot is yet. But I said, I told Maya, I was open and honest with Maya. She's 13. So I was
Mhm.
open and honest with her because she's not stupid. She's
Mhm.
13. Like,
Yes.
so, but Grace, like I said, all right, well, I was just going to tell her I work. And I told her there's aliens there because there are.
Yeah.
There are. In the showroom, there's aliens in there. So I was like, yeah, so there's aliens. And Grace is like, okay. And like Grace
Mhm.
just went on her merry way. But people will always, I said to my aunt, people are going to talk about me if I'm doing something bad
Yep.
or I'm doing something good.
Yep.
And I already know this. So that's why I just do whatever I want now,
Mhm.
because someone's going to complain. Somebody's going to talk about it.
No matter what.
Somebody's going to write about it. Somebody's going to comment on my post. Somebody's going to be in
Mhm.
my inbox. Okay. And still I'm going to do it.
And that's it.
That's all. That's it.
That's
That's why
it.
it's like, and now, and this I'm going to throw out there for you because I know you know a lot of people. So they have an event space in there. It's called the Cloud. Okay.
Nice.
And I got so incredibly fortunate today to be able to be in charge of the event space.
Stop.
So I'm going to be able to bring in whatever events, as many as I want. So I was thinking, like, even it doesn't even have to be something that's, baked. Like people can shop and stuff, but in the back, it's regular.
Yeah.
But like healing things, some
Mhm.
kind of coaching. We could put together coaching sessions, bring
Yes.
together a bunch of coaches. We could do a vendor. There's so many things. And I know that you know people that do stuff. So I figured I was
Yes.
going to say it to you so that we can collaborate and do something cool. We can do something freaking cool there. The event space is nice.
Yep.
It is cute, cute,
Mm.
cute. Oh,
Yes.
I was excited today because I'm like,
Yes. So
this is a whole other.
are you going to be able to like post pictures and like videos of the space? Like, okay,
Yes. It's
good.
really, I took a video when I was in there. I showed it to Elise before because I'm just so
Mhm.
friggin' excited. I'm so
That's
excited.
awesome. I'm excited because we're always looking for event space, and we
This
always
is,
keep looking for
and
event
it's
space.
nice. It's nice and it's like a hip,
And where's it
like it's
located?
cool. It's in
It's in
Farmingdale.
Farmingdale. Oh, right
It's
there.
in Farmingdale, right over, where like Conklin is.
Yep. I know.
And then, so it's on Wellwood. It's
Oh,
right
right
over there.
there. Okay.
Yep. So, yeah, it's so,
Congrats.
there's
Congrats.
going to be a lot of fun stuff coming out of this. I
Mm,
cannot wait. I cannot
yes.
wait. Because I
It's
know
awesome.
healing, even like a yoga thing, anything. I was just
Anything.
like, it could be literally anything, any
Anything.
healing modalities. It could be anything, literally anything. So,
I
so
love it.
exciting.
I love it.
And then let me ask you, so what do you have in store? Like, what's your next thing that you're like, I have to do this besides the scripts? I know you said the
Okay.
scripts, but like, what's your ready? What's
Okay.
your biggest, boldest goal? First thing on your mouth. First thing. Biggest, boldest
Um,
goal.
I want to have my own wellness center.
You're
I
gonna
want
totally do that.
I want my own wellness center. And I just want it to be a very laid back place, a mix of clinical, but a lot of holistic, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, I definitely want it to be a place, not just for women. My husband's really big on giving men their space and time because he says men don't
They
really
need
have
it.
an open space, like, hey, you
True.
can go to the bar, but he's like, someplace where they can come, play pool, have a sessions where they could talk, have men's group, things like that, very confidential. So I want like an overall
Community.
community wellness center, you
I
know,
love that.
um,
The men get left out.
all the time.
Men get left out. And it's I understand that men don't feel like they're able to share
Yep.
because they don't have the space. And I love that your husband like picked up on that, number one.
Yep.
But providing the space for people to
Mhm.
even if they don't know how to communicate it yet,
Mhm.
just to know that there's other people. For men, I think that's like
Yep.
life changing. Because
Absolutely.
I know even for me, like before I found Clubhouse, I had no community.
Mhm.
And it was hard to go like that. And then I finally found a group. It was a group of women at first. There were men in there, but it was more women.
Mhm.
But the men in there were so loving
Yeah.
to the women
I love that.
and held so much space for us that it made me see, like, wait a minute. There are healthy, healed
Men.
masculines out here.
Yes. Yeah.
What? These men made me, it transformed what I knew to be true
Mhm.
in my head, because I had never experienced like an unconditional love from another human that was a man
Yep.
without an expectation behind it,
Mhm.
ever.
Yep. I love it.
And
I love
what a
all of
shit show that is. Like, how crazy.
it.
Alicia, wait. The men are important, but I got to talk about this because you're a
Okay.
woman and this is what we're going to do right now.
Okay.
Have you heard that on the internet that they're asking women if they'd rather be stuck with a man or a bear? Have you
No.
heard this?
No.
Okay. So there's a thing going on where they're asking women, because of domestic violence, would you rather be with a man or a bear? Would you rather take your chances with? And a lot of women are saying the bear. So, one step further with that, they looked up, like, for domestic violence, right?
Mhm.
They said that there's like 46% of women are married to their rapist. And my jaw, I had to. And because that is so frightening to know that women are living with their husbands and their husbands are raping them.
Yes.
That, and then the other thing was, they said, do you know how long a bear attack is? And they said, I think it was like 4 minutes or something. And then they said, how long does the normal, like, abuse
Abuse.
last? Is
Right.
like 30 minutes or something. That's why most women chose the bear.
Yep.
And I was just so taken back. And I was like, there are women out here. This is why I'm so, like, hell bent on educating people about women, because women are so undervalued in our society. And I'm so
Yeah.
sick of it.
Yes.
Sick of it. I'm sick of it. The way women get treated is disgusting. And I'm
Mhm.
done with it.
Yep.
Done with it, girl. Done.
Yep. Yep.
That's, ugh.
It's sad. And people don't understand that about domestic violence. And you don't realize how many people are actually in it. You know?
When they said that, my heart, and I'm like, there's so many women. Like, I was with somebody that I've been punched in the eye by a grown man. I've had my ass straight up beat by grown men. But I was like 21. Like, I didn't know better. It was like
Mhm.
stupid shit. And I'm like, but he loves me. He loves me. He's just
Yeah.
having a bad day.
Yep. He's having a bad day. I did something wrong. Yeah. Mhm.
Just a bad life.
Yep.
He just had a bad life.
Yep.
Bad
Yep.
life.
Yep.
But I mean, like, people that have never had to deal with that,
Mhm.
like, when I go to my car, I talk about this to Andrew because men don't realize, like, what women think about. Like, for me, when I go to my car, I look under the car, I look in the back seat.
My rear view mirror, everything. I'm
Is
looking through the
anybody in my
window
back
before I
seat
get
with
in.
me?
Mhm.
Did anybody follow me? I have keys in my fingers. Like, it's
Yeah.
crazy that women have to even think like this, but you have to.
Mhm.
Unless you have, like, even when you have your man with you. But I mean, like, when you're walking around, like,
Yep.
that's crazy. And then I saw the stuff in the city that they set a woman on fire. And I'm like, this world is nuts.
Yep.
But that's, for me, like, not that I'm hyper aware, but obviously I pay attention enough. But
Mhm.
there's just some stuff that
Yeah.
I'm just, when I
Yeah.
heard that fact, it's been sitting with me, that 46%,
Mhm. It's
because it
high.
just doesn't sit right. It
It's
doesn't
high.
sit right.
It's like 1 in 3 women. 1 in 3 women. It's crazy.
So so now where are you working now? Like what population do you work with?
So I'm an adjunct professor at LIU Post. So I
Oh,
do that. I've been there for years, so I love it because it's very flexible.
love
I
it.
can do 1 class a semester or 3 or 4. I can do how
Oh,
I feel.
nice.
So it's good. I'm an adjunct there. And then I also work for an agency called Free, which is Family Residences Enterprises, where they work with people with intellectual disabilities, autism. So I'm only there per diem, but like 5 to 10 hours a week where I supervise the coordinators. So the
Hmm.
coordinators have like caseloads and they have cases, and we go through the cases and we'll do like case consultations. So I do that right now. And then, I see my clients in private practice.
Oh, very
So
nice.
yeah, so I left Creedmoor and Rikers in 2022.
So do you know Carol Benjamin? She was at Creedmoor, I think. Or Ketty Jacques. Do you know Ketty Jacques?
What are
She
they?
was a therapy aide. She was
A
a therapy aide
therapy
at
And they were there
Creedmoor.
during the pandemic? They were there during the
I think
pandemic?
before. I think
Or?
before. I'm gonna
Hmm.
have to see when they were there because I know they
Yeah,
were both there. And then
yeah.
Carol Benjamin, I'm not sure. Carol, hi if you're watching. She is a social worker that I worked with at Pilgrim,
Oh,
and I remember her saying something about free, but I don't know if she was
yeah,
doing it or she knew somebody. I'll
yeah,
text her and ask her, but
yeah, yeah.
I love it. I
Mhm.
honestly, when I worked at Pilgrim, like we had all the different programs, and I don't remember working with free,
Mhm.
but I heard a lot of good things about them, like a lot of
Yeah.
good things.
Yeah, they're a great agency. That population can be very challenging for a lot of people,
Mhm.
especially for the parents who have children with those kind of disorders,
Ooh,
and that their children are born like that. It's not
right.
like they grew up and they started doing drugs at 18. They're like your child was
Oh,
born
they
with
were actually born that way.
with developmental delays, and they don't call it mental retardation anymore. They
Right.
got rid of that term. So, like
But
working
that's
with
No, but that's good though that people have somewhere to help them. Like there,
Mhm.
a lot of people don't know where to turn when they have these
Yes.
big things. So do you
Yes.
have what resources could you offer out? Just rattle off anything you have on the top of your head if anybody would need something.
So I have like a lot of people who are clinicians. If anyone needs counseling services and they want like insurance taken, I know sometimes the wait list can be very long for those that
Mhm.
take insurance, but I do have Smile Counseling Center, which is in Melville. And if anyone, like, you can DM me and I could definitely send the information over to you. I have a few people who I graduated with. They have their own private practices that
Oh,
do take
nice.
insurance. So a lot of people that I went to school with, they're working in
Any kid
private.
resources that you have?
Yes, some of them take kids
Good.
as well. Yes.
Wonderful.
So
This way
definitely.
we can give people like I
Yep.
love talking about everybody and I want to make sure
Mhm.
that we give people different blips and
Yes.
blurbs because
Yes.
that's what it is. A lot of people don't know they don't even want to try. Not that they don't want to try. I can
Mhm.
only speak to what was going on with me. I
Yeah.
would get so overwhelmed by life
Mhm.
that I would just shut down and didn't want to go get help because I didn't want to be bothered.
Yep.
I was so bothered already. I didn't want anybody telling me shit about anything. So I didn't want to go get help. I was fine in my misery. Leave
Biggest
me alone,
Biggest
like,
problem, Melissa, I am a whole doctor, clinician, and I have friends and family who's like, I don't need a therapist. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And I have to say, there's nothing wrong with talking with someone. I talk to someone, like there's nothing
yeah.
wrong with just speaking with someone. It doesn't make you crazy. You don't need meds, but it's good to have someone who is objective, that's not a relative or a friend, and you don't realize how much you need to release. One thing I
Hmm.
noticed when I was at Rikers, the department I worked in, the care department, and if an officer came, officers are really manly, they're okay, they have to be tough on the job.
Right.
And it's like I said, that question, as soon as I said, "How are you doing?" It was like, like they just
Mask
released.
off.
Mask off. because you don't know how you feel when just say, how are you doing today? How are you feeling? And especially if
Yeah,
you're not getting it at
people,
home.
it's a big deal.
Yes.
And that's it's so crazy because when I think about everyone that I come in contact with, in my
Mhm.
brain,
Mhm.
immediately I'm like, give them grace because you just don't know where people are at. I
Nope.
mean, immediately when I talk to somebody, I know exactly where you're at. I just got to get a sentence out of you so I can know where you're at. But it's a shame because a lot of people, they just I feel like people just give up. And I know because I was at a point where I was like, I'm done. I'm like, I
Yeah.
just can't be bothered with
Yep.
anything. And I was
Yep.
miserable.
Yep.
But then I was like sick of my own shit. So I know there's other people out there that are sick of their shit too. And just
Yep.
know that like there are resources out there for you when you're ready. You have to be ready.
Yes.
You
You have to
can't
be ready.
you have to want to, and not for other people. You have to
Mhm.
want to get help because you are like sick of yourself.
Yep.
And that's what people I hope more people feel like,
Mhm.
not embarrassed, no shame,
Yep.
don't have to feel shame to get help.
No. Absolutely not. It's the best
It's
thing.
like,
People are afraid to heal because people are married to their hurt and trauma.
oh yeah, the girl, they love that shit.
They
That
love it.
shit, they
I like
like the
being miserable.
pain.
I like being sad. I like being down. I like, woe, it's me. Like, that's exhausting.
Girl,
Like, we
people
go,
love that shit though. They're like, oh, it
yes,
feels like shit. Oh, I love it. It's
yes.
like, ooh,
And I'm like, this is
no.
exhausting. Yeah, I can't. So, and people are so fearful of the unknown. And sometimes I say,
Yes.
why do we have to be fearful of the unknown? Why can't we look at it as something beautiful? Because what can be on the other side can be something so wonderful and beautiful that you're making
Yep.
it worse than it needs to be, you
And
know?
really, change is the only constant. When I started, because, people, I always heard growing up, like, oh God, like if you change it, but don't change what you're doing. And I was like, yeah, but like, what if I could do it better?
Yep.
Why would you not change it to
Yep.
make it better?
Absolutely.
But then
Absolutely.
people be like, don't do. I told my aunt that I said something today, and she was like, that was very bold of you. And I said, well, yeah. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was. And I know, and I know, but
Mhm.
that's me. And I
Yes.
know what I'm saying.
Yes.
So like I know people project, and it's just I laugh because it's usually the people that know you.
Always the people that know you.
And
It's
it's
always
like,
the
oh,
people that know you.
thanks guys.
Always. 99.9%. I have to
Oh,
be
absolutely.
honest with you. I've never really had like a stranger challenge me on anything. There was
That's
like okay,
amazing.
no, there was one post. Wait, there was one post, I had two, where it was on IG, and I think Terrence Howard was talking about the vaccine and about
Mhm.
what it does and all this stuff. And
Right.
I commented on it, and I said, from my own experience, I did not take it. I'm a doctor, da da da. I had to leave my jobs because of it. Just told what I
Mhm.
went through. And
Right.
one woman was like, you're not a medical doctor. You don't know what you're talking about. You're not even a real doctor. So I had to
Woo.
gracefully go in, and I said, you don't have
Mhm.
to be a medical doctor to have common sense.
Exactly. Like, yeah, like, thank you.
Yeah.
But common sense isn't common.
Yeah. So I said to her, I said, I'm sorry, I don't know who hurt you, but if you would like some resources, please DM me. Please don't project
I
your
love
anger
it.
onto me. I have to just, because if you're just angry with me, I'm a stranger. I don't know you. Like, why are you so
Yeah,
upset?
you're mad with
Like,
yourself. You're mad at
yeah.
yourself.
Like,
I
you
tell
need
people, I write, I send you love and healing. They
that's
hate that. They
yep.
hate that. That's
I
the
say,
worst.
be blessed.
But
Yes.
I know, and people get mad. I know that whatever I send out, I'm going to get back. So me, I'm like, I'm sending you love and healing. I'm
Mhm.
sending you wealth and abundance.
Abundance,
I'm
yes.
s- I'm sending you happy
Peace,
thoughts and
joy.
bliss,
Yes,
and I just love
yes.
you so much. And I don't care.
Yep.
I have books on my little notes. I'll write like send love and healing to, and I think of the people that like hate me the most, and I write their names in. Like
That's good.
you can't you can't see me. Like I know you
No.
want to, but you
Mhm.
can't. Like I'm not gonna
Yes.
let people.
No,
You can't do it.
no.
I work too hard up here. I
Yep.
literally reprogrammed my entire subconscious mind.
I love
Sorry,
it. I love it.
sorry, kids.
And people
I
don't know
went
what
in
you've
so
done.
hard. Girl, I can't. I started getting ready. Not started getting ready. I wrote down all the content that I want to make for healing because I
Mhm.
want to walk people through
Yep.
what I did step by
Mhm.
step. This way
Mhm.
you could do it too. Because it's not hard. It's
Mhm.
just the consistency. It's
Mhm.
doing the physical
It's the
action.
doing. Yeah.
So now to like be able to share that with people, I'm starting to get all like jazzed up because now I'm really like, I feel
Mhm.
like finally I'm like in my power, like in
Mhm.
myself enough where I
Mhm.
can deliver how I need to get what I
Mhm.
need done. Because like for me, it's really sharing my story so that others can be safe to do the same
Absolutely.
and just be who I say I am.
Mhm.
It really is that easy. I wish more people. I know no one thinks it could ever be that easy, but
And
it's
they
the
don't.
highest tribute. It's the highest tribute to God is like showing up in your authenticity. It's so huge and it gets you unlimited opportunities. It gives you it's
Everything.
everything.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Helping others. I just said that I love helping other people because it helps me win more.
Mhm. Yep.
So why would you not
Absolutely.
help other people win? I
Absolutely.
hope I hope people are inspired to work with other women. I hope this show in general, after
Mhm.
seeing different walks of life that come on the different women, how inspirational everybody is, how hard they're working,
Mhm.
and really that you can collaborate with incredible humans if you show
You
up that way.
absolutely. That's it. That's
That's
it.
it.
They
You
don't
gotta
get
show
it.
up and be that.
You have to show up and
People
be
will catch on eventually.
I'm like, "Man, what?" You know?
One day.
And
Fingers crossed, fingers crossed.
and I don't know if this happens with you, but people closest to me like, "Oh, that's only happening for you. That can never happen for me." And I'm like, you see all the things I've written down and things I've talked about, and they're like, "Oh, that's good for you, Alicia, but that's only you. That doesn't work for me." And I'm like, "Why?
But it's
Why?"
like, what if I had to say to somebody today, I said, all right, you're saying that doesn't work, but what if you just tried it my way and then tell me if I'm wrong? If I'm
100%.
wrong, come tell me I'm wrong.
Just give me 30
That's
days.
what
That's it.
that's what I said. That's what I said to somebody today. That's how I walked out with that whole position that got
I love it.
created for me.
I love
Because
it.
I said, all right, you do it like that. Let me do it my way. And if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong.
Yep.
But if I'm right, tell
Yep.
me I'm right. Because I know I can do what I said I'm going to do.
And what
And
they
that's
say?
what the beauty. That's how I wound this position today. When I tell you, like, I literally went in to be a cashier and walked out like on the marketing team and doing the event space, the entertainment part. And
Mhm.
then they were talking about creating a podcast, like choo, choo, choo,
Everything.
because alignment,
Yep. You're aligned.
alignment,
Everything.
alignment. And
I
it's
love it.
just, it's so good. It's so good because it's like, finally, like I feel like I'm stepping into like who I really want to be because I've always wanted to work in the community. I've wanted to I when all the stuff was like talk about that
Mhm.
they might make it legal, maybe back in the day, everybody's like, nah. And I'm like, yeah, they are. Yeah, they are because the money. I wanted to buy land,
Mm.
grow out either out east or upstate. And
Yep.
this was at the time when people were just starting to talk about it. So now to be able to be in and involved in an arena that I would love, to still
Look at
go get
that.
farmland and do that.
And you still
So
can, yeah,
like,
look at that.
I'm just like, is this happening? I said at the table, I'm like, my life is just a bunch of miracles, like back to back to back to back to
Yep.
back to back. And I love it. I love
Mm,
it. But that's because that's what I'm looking for.
yes.
Instead of being like, I hate everything. I'm like, no,
Mhm.
everything's a miracle. It's great. It's wonderful.
That's
It's just a perspective shift.
Yep. That's beautiful.
Perspective.
That's
But
it.
girl, I appreciate you coming on tonight.
Any
This
anytime.
was so great.
Yes.
So
Anytime.
I'm gonna wrap it up because it's,
Okay.
what time is it? 9:36.
Sounds
But
good.
okay, so before we go though, I want you to tell us, where can they find you on social media?
Okay.
And then if you have a website or anything you want to share or events you want to
Okay.
share, you got the floor.
So right now, if you need to reach me, if you want resources, if you want to work with me, or if you want to book me for any speaking engagements or any TV engagements, Facebook is Dr. Alicia Delgado Gavin, and IG is also at Dr. Alicia Delgado Gavin. Again, please reach out to me anytime. Do not hesitate. You can message me. I'm always available. And you could probably also find my number on my sites as well, where you could reach out to me and message me. And that's the quickest way you can get a hold of me.
Okay, beautiful. And I wrote it down, so I'm gonna put it in
Okay.
the comments section too. This
Okay.
way, if anybody wants to find you.
Sounds good. I appreciate you, Melissa, girl. I'm so
Appreciate
proud
you.
of
I love you.
you. Yes, love you much. It was wonderful.
Thank you so much.
All
All
right.
right, everybody. So we will see you next week. I hope you have a great week, everybody. Alicia, thank you again. Mwah.
Thank
I love you
you.
guys. Have a good night. Bye.